You've tuned into Books, Business, and Beyond, the show that teaches you how to maximize your income from your book to create the lifestyle you want. Now here's your host, the girl who loves Mexican food and taking on new challenges, Shelly Hitz, and her partner in success, Kristen Eckstein.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Books, Business, and Beyond. I'm your co-host, Shelly Hitz, and I'm joined today with Kristen Eckstein, my co-host. How are you, Kristen?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing awesome. And today we have a really great guest for you. It's Jim Kukral, and he is the owner of Author Marketing Club, as well as a lot of other stuff going on, and he'll be able to share with you more about that in a minute. But I first got to know Jim through the Author Marketing Club when he just quietly came on the scene. He was offering all these free resources for authors, and he's just expanded exponentially, and it's something that I love to see. I love to see when entrepreneurs are just taking something and really going with it. And it's what we're actually recommending all of you to do as well in your business. So welcome, Jim. We're so glad to have you.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, and you have really come into the author world and the publishing world in the area of self-publishing, but really in book marketing and really offering a lot of tools and resources with book marketing. How did you first choose to be in that realm or to specialize in that? Or tell us just a little bit about your story and why you're doing what you're doing now.
Well, you know what? I had my first traditionally published book from Wiley done in 2010. And it was simultaneously the greatest thing that ever happened to me and the worst thing that ever happened to me. So the reason for that, it was such a great thing because, you're getting a published book out there, right? And it was, and it also was the worst thing because the experience of working with a traditional publisher to me was not something that I enjoyed. I like to move much faster, and I have since self-published 10 books since that day. So, but what happened with that was it allowed me to create this business, which is the Author Marketing Institute and Author Marketing Club, because I realized that there's so many people that exist out there who have written books or are going to be writing books. Remember, this was 2010, who now have the opportunity to be successful in writing books, but they just absolutely have no idea how to do marketing. And I come from a marketing background, so I combined the two and built the business that I run now.
Awesome. Yeah, and you're so right. So many authors come into the realm of, I just want to write. I'm sure you hear that every day, right? I just want to do the writing. I don't want to have to do the marketing. And yet it's such an essential part of the process, even for traditionally published authors these days. So what are some of the things and the trends that you're seeing right now in book marketing as far as 2015 and where we're at today? What are, some of the new things or some of the trends maybe that you're seeing right now?
Well, obviously the biggest one is building your platform and your email list. You hear this over and over and over again on every blog and podcast, but the truth is that if you're really not working very diligently to drive people to your own email list, you're going to be in a big pot of trouble when it comes down the road. So things like Nick Stephenson's Reader Magnets. If you haven't picked up a copy of that free report, go to Nick Stephenson Reader Magnet. Just look up Nick Stephenson Reader Magnets and you get a free copy of that report. But getting people from your book into your email list and then having the potential to sell them other books down the road is really important. So that's the big thing. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of what I think the future is going to be in terms of mobile. I think, so many people are reading books digitally on their tablets and their phones. And I think that shorter serials in fiction and nonfiction are going to be the future of how authors really are having a lot of success. Shorter books that people can buy, get cliffhangered in, and then buy the next one. So, again, you have to give the audience what they want.
I love that. Because I've been teaching about shorter, especially Kindle books for the past couple of years, and I really see that same trend. And as far as like book reviews and things like that people are giving, the readers are busy. They, especially in nonfiction, they don't want to take forever for you to get to the point. So I totally agree with you that, as far as what I hear you're saying is book marketing really begins with the writing process. Like, it begins before you even sit down and start writing a book. Besides website and online marketing and social media and all that stuff you could be doing, you also need to really know who it is that you're writing for, why you're writing your book, and so on. So that's a really awesome point, Jim. Thanks.
You're right. Getting starts the minute you come up with the title and the idea for the book. The instance, right? Go right on Facebook. That's what I do. And I go, here, I'm thinking about writing my next book, and here's what I think I want to call it. All right, and then get feedback from that. And then here's the cover I'm thinking I'm going to use for this book, and get feedback on that. And meanwhile, you're pre-selling the book from the moment you have the idea for the book.
Yeah, and that's really important because you're building that buzz, you're building that interest without really truly saying, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. You're getting people involved in the process and you're getting them excited about what you're doing. And so that's such a great way to integrate social media with getting ready to publish your book. But so many people are afraid or shy about sharing about their process or sharing about their book and what they're doing. What would you say to people who might feel that way?
Feel they're shy about it? Look, you can't live in that world any longer, right? I always talk about the romantic dream that writers and authors have, right? The romantic dream was that thing where you hard mailed your copy of your manuscript to the agent. The agent walks it into the publisher and goes, I found the next great novel, right? And then they send a limo for you to the publisher's office and their big mahogany desks, and you walk in and they're like, you are going to be the next Stephen King, right? and then all of a sudden books in the bookstores and you're in the marquee. It doesn't exist, okay? That dream just does not exist anymore, and I get it. I would love that to happen for me as well, but the business has changed. It is no longer that way. You have to be an entrepreneur. You have to be somebody who's going to get off their butt and go out and walk into bookstores and say, hey, you should be selling my book. Do book signings, have a blog, build email lists, do all of the things you have to do if you want to have success nowadays. And by the way, that's not just for self-publishers. That's for traditionally published authors, right? Traditionally published authors have to do all of the work to market your book. The publishers aren't doing anything. They may send out a press release. They may get a book publicist to make a few calls, but unless you're Hillary Clinton or some widely known best-selling author, they're not doing anything for you. You got to do it.
Exactly. And I talk to people about that all the time because they're like, if I could just get my book self-published, then I could just enjoy writing and not have to, or traditionally published, then I wouldn't have to worry about marketing and I could just do writing. I'm like, well, that's not the way it is anymore. You still have to do the marketing and you have to show that traditional publisher you already have that platform, like you're talking about, the email list, the blog followers, the Facebook fans. Now, I watched you not too long ago, I think it was sometime last year, do a campaign where you actually sold your book for, people could pay what they wanted. And I thought it was just a really interesting idea. Could you share a little bit about that? Because I think it's an idea that not many authors have really heard about.
Yeah, so I wrote a book called Go Direct, and you can find it at godirectbook.com. And basically the concept of the book was, Amazon doesn't share their customer data with you, do they, right? When someone orders your book, they don't give you the email address, right? In the future, I think it's going to be smart to kick out the middleman and avoid the gatekeepers, right? The gatekeepers are the agents and the publishers who are deciding if your content's good enough. The middlemen are necessary still, like people like Amazon and PayPal. You need PayPal to make a transaction. You need credit cards so that you can take people's money via credit cards. Amazon you still need, because Amazon is the one that gets the book discovered and allows you to make that transaction with the person. However, when you think about it in the future, what's the better way to do it? The better way to do it is to go direct to a customer, building that audience and sell them directly. Let me give you a good example, okay, in an author sense. So J.K. Rowling's big-time author of the Harry Potter books. Now, what a lot of people never realized, and I didn't at the time, was that J.K. never gave the e-book distribution rights to her publisher. She owned them completely. So you've never been able to read a Harry Potter book before what happened on an ebook format. And J.K. said, you know what? I'm not even going to go through the publisher anymore. What do I need them for? I already have millions and millions of fans. So she built a website called Pottermore and said, if you want to get digital copies of my books, and her fans did, you should come register with me. Now think about that. She cut out the gatekeeper. She cut out the middleman. And now has millions and millions of people registered on her own website where she could now click a button and say, I just wrote a new book, buy it from me direct. You tell me which is going to be more powerful, how much more money she's going to make from that. She's going to turn, $1 billion into $3 billion because of that one thing.
I remember when she did that, she got a lot of flack for that from the publishing community. And the fact is, the reason she did was because she was doing something that hadn't been done before. She was a groundbreaker, and other authors, if you look at some other high-profile fiction authors, like even Stephen King, are following suit. So, she kind of laid the groundwork and said, look, this is what I want, and went for it. And the fans loved her for it, and she made a boatload more money that she can now, live the life that she'd always dreamed of, and also have plenty of money for marketing and not have to worry about that anymore. Plus, cutting out the gatekeeper. And I think you're absolutely right. We still need Amazon, but these gatekeepers, they're already falling by the wayside, and they're not going to have a big place, not nearly as big a place in the near future.
I didn't answer your question about the pay what you want. So one of the things I did with the book, now I do sell it on Amazon just because I want to get it out there. But if you want to go to the website and pay what you want for the book, you can do that. And basically the concept is let the consumer decide if they thought it was valuable or not, right? So you can decide to get the book for free, or you can pay $3 for it or $5 or whatever you want for it. After the fact, I follow up with them on an email because I get them on an email list, and I say, did you like it? Well, what did you think it was worth? Did you want to give me $5? Do you want to give me nothing? It's up to you. And I have found that the majority of people who read it are like, this was actually very helpful. Thank you so much. I will contribute 99 cents. I will give you $3. I will give you. I had people give up to $20. So the concept is putting content out there that people really want and enjoy, and letting them make the decision on whether or not they want to participate in your being your fan, right? Because it's all about building those true fans, those people who really love what you do. And if you're entertaining them, if you're solving their problems, they're going to choose to support you as like a patron of sorts if you give them the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and I remember you had some statistics, and you may not know them off the top of your head, but you were actually you were actually making money. I mean, people weren't just downloading it for free, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a couple posts on GoDirectBook.com. I have to look them up here, but there was a couple posts there where I talked about the studies and the numbers. So here we are. So I spent some money on Facebook ads. 84% of the people who pre-ordered confirmed their email address after ordering, which means I added a lot of people to my email list. Approximately in my first report, I did 55% of the people who ordered the package signed up for free, getting the book, and 45% contributed anywhere between 99 cents and $10. So now, and then I did a second report, and I said over 75% of the people who pre-ordered the book, an audiobook, paid for the book while the rest got it for free. So over 75% of the people, when I said you can have it free or you can contribute something, over 75% of those people contributed at least 99 cents. The conclusion is the pay what you want model allows you to offer people a choice. They either see it as a value up front or they just want something free, which is fine either way. The people who paid for it paid whatever they wanted, all the way from 99 cents to $20 in some cases. The bottom line is I offered them a choice to consume my content free or paid, and the vast majority of them chose the paid option.
And then were you able to upsell them to other services or products on the back end through your list?
Well, absolutely, because then, when I sign people up for an email list for a book, I'm not going to try and sell them something totally unrelated down the road. For example, try and pitch them Author Marketing Club, because they're probably not authors. They're probably just readers, right? But I will suggest other books I have that they might like. So now I have a list of people who continually sign up to get the book. Now I can go right now. I can open my Aweber account and send an email to everyone who's been on my list since I started this and say, hey, did you like to go direct? I've got a new book coming out, or here are my older books that you might want to go and check out, or whatever. So that's the power that you have, right, when you have an email list. Without that, you really don't have any power. You're constantly struggling to find new customers. You're constantly struggling dealing with the middleman and all that. When you have your own platform, you have an email list, you have power.
Yeah, and it's like the whole marketing thing of the value of a repeat customer versus having to always find new customers. And that's exactly what we're talking about with an email list. And I've seen that power as well, that I can send out 1 or 2 emails and have a best-selling book because I have a tribe of people interested in the types of books that I write. And so it's so powerful. Just one more quick question about that particular technique. Was there a certain platform you used in order to allow them to pay what they wanted? Or was that something that you had set up custom on your own?
So you can do it multiple ways. You can just do a simple PayPal donation thing, which is fine. You can create a little PayPal button on your website. What I used was two different ones. I used one called gumroad.com, and I used another one called selz.com. I actually preferred selz.com because it had more integrations and more things I could do with it. So they're very easy to set up, and they're free, right? They only take a very tiny percentage of the transaction. Again, they're a necessary middleman, right? I mean, the only way to cut them out completely is to walk up to someone in person and hand them a book and take cash from them, right? So you can't cut out every middleman, but some of them are very necessary, and those are ones that I would suggest using. Selz, selz.com, and Gumroad.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's a great technique, and I think more authors should definitely consider trying something like that. We just in the last episode talked about crowdfunding, and it's a different twist to it, but it's, again, it's controlling the sales and the list and those sorts of things instead of just depending on Amazon. And I think when you put all your eggs in one basket, at some point, one day you're going to be regretting that. And so I think it's so good to diversify and have different options and different strategies available for that. So what is on the horizons for you? What's next? You've been doing, you started with the Author Marketing Club, you have the Author Marketing Institute, you have podcasts, you have all kinds of stuff going on. What's next? Anything exciting going on?
Well, you know what? Our business is to advance the practice of author marketing, helping authors figure out how to sell more books. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. So we're constantly building new tools. We've got a new tool coming out for Author Marketing Club in the next couple months that people are really going to love. And we're creating new courses all the time. Some people get into business for the wrong reason. They get into business because it's just about making money. And while I am a businessman, and making money is important, at the end of the day, I truly believe that the opportunity that exists for authors is bigger than that. And I hope you can tell I'm not a big fan of gatekeepers, right?
Yeah.
I don't like people telling me or anyone else that I can't do something. And that's what has been happening in the industry since Gutenberg invented the printing press. They told us we couldn't do it. Same thing switched when music was available to everyone, and YouTube and blogs, right? And now it's happening in the publishing industry. So my job, in my opinion,
there was a reason why I like you.
Right, see? I share the same goal. There's a lot of people out there just trying to make money off of authors, and I don't want to do that. I want to provide so much value that you're just blown away, and that's what I'm going to continue to do, and that's why we keep getting the great testimonials we keep getting, and I'm just going to keep doing that.
Yeah, and if you guys want to check out Author Marketing Club, it really is a ton of value, even if you sign up for free. But I definitely recommend the premium membership. I have been a part of that, and there's so many great tools, and you can find it at booksbusinessandbeyond.com/AMC. Definitely go over there and check what Jim has. Can you give us any hints on the new tool, or is it top secret?
Let's just say that it will be some tools that'll help you figure out, how can I say this? Help you learn more about what readers are looking for. That's the best way.
Awesome. So researching a little bit, and we'll be excited to see what you have coming out, and we're definitely honored to have you on the podcast. We're finishing up, just a couple more minutes left. Any last minute tips or things that you want to leave with our listeners?
Look, I want everyone to just believe that it can be done. I'm a big motivational kind of guy. I love the opportunity that exists for everybody out there. And I will ask you this question if you're listening. How bad do you want it, right? how bad do you want to be successful? Is it just a part-time thing? Are you just writing for fun? Then that's fine. But if you really want to build a career as an author, it's going to take more than just writing a great book. There's a whole nother level to it. So I want you to keep asking yourself, how bad do you want it? And instead of watching Dancing with the Stars, or playing a video game or something, maybe you sit down and you say, well, tonight I'm going to figure out this email list thing. Or I'm going to take 2 hours and learn how to do this. That's what it's going to take. Little tiny steps to find your way to be successful.
Yeah, that is so awesome. And I just posted something on Facebook today, build a life you don't need a vacation from. And I was like, when I took a leap and I quit my job, it doesn't mean everyone has to do that, but maybe you want to give up TV so you can write your book or something along those lines. So that's such a great inspiration, a great way to close. Thank you so much for being here. And we're just excited to see what's ahead for you. And thank you again for joining us for this episode of Books, Business, and Beyond. And again, this is Shelley Hitz and Kristen Joy. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Books, Business, and Beyond, the show that teaches you how to maximize your income from your book to create the lifestyle you want. Visit your host, international best-selling author Shelley Hitz, and her partner in success, Kristen, the Book Ninja Eckstein, at booksbusinessandbeyond.com and grab your free gift today. Tune in next time for more ways to diversify your income beyond the book, and don't miss a single episode. Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes.